When we last checked on Guy Man, he set off to find a job. He needed to pay his goblin roommate for sharing his space under a bridge. How sad. Guy found a flyer from an old farmer asking for someone to investigate what was destroying his crops and eating his livestock. Maybe this is how Guy's incredible journey begins. One can only hope.
Guy, you are leaving Copperton, heading towards the edges of the city that contain all the farmland. You are walking through amber fields of wheat and other crops that the farmers have cultivated around here until you finally reach the plot that belongs to Farmer Willump, who had the job posted that you took. As you approach the farm, you see the decimated fields. You can see where crops have been uprooted and dirt has been dug through. And you see 2 carcasses of cattle that have been killed and eaten here. And you see a small farmhouse. Seems not fit for a incredibly large family. It is small in nature, kind of homely. And what would you like to do as you approach this plot?
I think I'm a little nervous about the carcass that I just breezed by.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take a little look at it, maybe a harder look. I want to see if there's any indication of like broken bones or anything. Might help me figure out how big of a thing is I'm dealing with.
Give me an investigation roll.
Okay. 14.
It's not bad. You're no, expert on monsters, but you take a look at this carcass and you do see broken bones. You do see that in death this thing has kind of been mauled and eaten, and you can tell by some of the wounds on it that this is probably a larger creature. This thing was kind of manhandled, and to do that with such a large kind of cow creature, it would have to be a pretty large creature to do it.
I'm even a little more nervous than I was previously. Slight regret on my decision on that part, but I continue to the door because I don't really have any other prospects for a job.
Of course. You approach the door of the homestead, you knock, and after a moment of waiting, eventually the door swings open and you see a small man with kind of silver hair only around the edges, bald on top, in some kind of overalls and a very plain shirt. And he kind of looks up at you, deep wrinkled face, but with some kind eyes, and he looks and he says, well, hello there. How can I help you?
Good morning or afternoon. I don't know. I found this flyer on the job board. Are you Farmer Willump?
Yes, I am. I'm Farmer Willump. It's good to meet you. What is your name?
My name's Guy Man. I think I could probably, work to solve your problem.
Well, that would be great. Something is coming in the night and just making a mess of my fields out there and my livestock. I've lost 3 cattle so far, and I just would love for somebody to see what's going on.
I apologize for your loss of livestock and wheat grass.
Yeah, it's it's a lot of our livelihood out here in Copperton, and so it's a shame. But I could spare some coin for someone that could look into it.
That is exactly what I'm looking for. My goblin roommate that I live under a bridge with, he needs a little extra money on the side, so I'm just trying to get a little bit of that dough, if you know what I mean.
Right, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, feel free if you want to look around or stake out here tonight or whatever you want to do. Just let me know if you figure it out.
Yeah, I'll be here until I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
quick question.
Yeah?
You got Water that's not brown.
Well, we have I share a well with a couple other plots. It's maybe half a mile east.
Can I get a pail of water from that?
Sure, yeah, that's no problem.
Perfect. Oh, well, I shake his hand. Thank you, Mr. Farmer, Sir Willump. I'll get your problem solved as fast as I can.
All right. He shakes your hand with a kind of gentler, an older man's strength, and you're able to see kind of past him into his home, and it's quiet. Everything's very still. You can assume he probably lives alone and works this farm. As you walk off the porch, the door closes behind you. And you head off in the direction of the well that he pointed out.
Perfect.
As you
thirsty.
walk off of his land, kind of onto some other plots in that direction, you do eventually come across this stone well, and you bring yourself up a pail of water.
I just chug it.
Chug it. Guy never knows exactly where his next meal or drink is going to come from, so this is very refreshing to you.
Keegan.
Yay!
Keegan.
Dude, I've missed you.
I've missed me as well.
What?
Sorry.
The hell? No, but we haven't. We've canceled a couple of sessions. Had some shorty sessions.
I know. Last session was only 2 hours long.
I know. We're not playing.
We're not
this
playing
week.
This weekend.
It's kind of a bummer. But I thought I felt it important to, let the people know that we struggle just like all the other D&D groups out there with scheduling and life and all the things that happen. But we'll get back to being on schedule soon. Last episode we opened up talking about some kind of Critical Role Campaign 4 stuff, which I think is interesting, and I'm sure
very relevant to the
very
community.
Relevant, to the D&D communities and stuff. Did you see they released a big video talking about all the stuff that's going on? Did you see it?
I didn't.
I figured you might not have, and so I thought it would be but there's some really interesting stuff that I'm kind of glad you didn't watch it because I kind of want to see your reaction to some of this.
Oh.
So obviously Brendan Lee Mulligan is DMing it.
Yep.
It's going to be. We knew that. It's going to be Dungeons & Dragons 2024 rules, so not Daggerheart.
What? It's not Daggerheart?
It's not
How
Daggerheart.
are they not? Why are they not? What?
I don't know. I think...
That isn't...
I mean, as much as I'm not interested in playing Dungeons & Dragons...
I wonder if they have a contract with Dungeons & Dragons.
I don't think so. I think that was the choice they made. I think a lot of their fan base is used to Dungeons & Dragons, and obviously it's not like all their fans transitioned to Daggerheart, or and I think Daggerheart has been very successful, but it's not like it's replaced D&D. A lot of people play D&D, and they talked about that there is more Daggerheart series in the works, like they did with Age of Umbra, which was a very good
short series
season.
of Daggerheart.
Yeah, probably shorter series. Alongside the main campaign. So yeah, D&D.
I'm a little disappointed, not gonna lie.
Yeah, but it is a new world, all new lore, everything. It's a whole new beginning, which is a good start, jumping off point for anybody interested. It's the entire main cast playing, so the normal 8.
And plus Brennan?
Well, he's DMing.
Oh, sorry, not Brennan. Matt.
Yes, yeah, Matthew Mercer included in those players.
Okay.
So I guess, what is that? Is that Liam, Sam, Ashley, Laura, Travis, Taliesin? It's 8 or 9. But
it really sucks that you're bad at math.
Well, I just couldn't. I'm trying to count, but I also feel like I'm bad at sometimes remember. I mean, it's like 9 people, so I'm trying to remember But anyways, it's 8 or 9, and plus a few more faces that have been on Critical Role before. Robbie Damon is going to be a permanent player. Luis Carrizo is going to be a permanent player. He was in the
That name is not familiar.
EXU Calamity
I should know
series. Abria Iyengar will be a permanent player. Alex Ward will be a permanent player. He's done a lot of Vampire the Masquerade stuff. He has a really big Vampire the Masquerade series. And a few, I think one other.
So they're gonna have
but
10?
it brings the total to 14 players.
Oh my god!
But they're not all going to be at the table at once. It's going to be a West Marches style campaign.
Oh.
So it's going to be split
neat.
into... Yeah, I thought you might find this interesting. It's going to be... Those 14 will be split into 3 smaller groups, and every week we'll be following one of those groups.
That's okay. That was so much more manageable.
Yeah. So I think it'll be really interesting. The 3 groups have, like... Obviously, they'll be playing in the same world, right? So they'll be exploring 3 different stories in the same world, and there might be some crossover, or I'm sure if there's like a huge, big event, maybe we will have episodes where there's all 14 players at the table. I don't know.
That's going to be crazy if there
That would be,
is.
yeah, crazy. But it's also kind of interesting because, one, I think it's smart because the original cast of Critical Role is so busy because they have such big roles. Not just within their own company.
Voice actors, yeah.
Right, but they are all also voice actors and things too, so it's like, yeah, they have a lot going on. So I think it's kind of cool now that it's like they're not going to have to show up every single week, just their group, whatever. It gives them a lot more time off and stuff, which is cool, because then that gives them more time to make other cool content and D&D stuff.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, there's no other, podcasts with West Marches style.
Well, I'm sure there's some out there, but yeah, not to this
big.
level.
Yeah, this not like Critical Role scale.
No, so that'll be interesting. So, and the 3 groups also have like a theme that they'll be following. So one of the groups is called Soldiers, and their story will be about people who feel like they have no other choice other than to physically fight this kind of looming threat. Right? This is the kind of more combat focused action, kind of group. So the players got to kind of choose what group they wanted to be in based on the vibes of what the story would be, which I think is cool. The second group is called Seekers, and this group will be very lore focused, exploring, the origins of the arcane and the divine and the gods and the people's relationship to the gods and all kinds of cool lore world stuff.
Okay.
And then the third group will be called Subterfuge, and it's a group that's exploring the criminal underworld of the different cities and rival criminal gangs and things like that, and the kind of darker aspects of the world. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm curious to see what characters they make and stuff, and
I have to listen to it.
I'm excited. I'm definitely gonna have to give it a try. I'm excited to see the pairings of stuff, of the original cast, who's still with who, and because there's some duos there that I love. So yeah, I'm very curious.
That is a big cast. Oh my gosh,
it's a big cast. 14 is crazy.
I usually listen to
I
stuff
have
with
to
small
imagine
casts just because it's hard to keep track of.
It is hard to keep track, and it's so easy to get invested in 2 or 3, or 4 people and their characters. But yeah, 14's big, and I can't imagine they'll stop themselves from inviting other guests. Sometimes it's just kind of a thing that happens for bigger tabletop RPGs. So yeah,
it's a good thing that Brennan's just a cracked DM, because that's a crazy amount of people that you have to keep track of.
Yeah, I don't know if I said this last time, but he had this statement where someone was like, how do you do it? You're playing for Dimension 20 or you're DMing for Dimension 20, and he has this podcast, Worlds Beyond Number, that he also runs a game for. Yeah. And, now he's going to be DMing the main campaign for it. It's just, it's crazy. And so someone asked him, how do you do it? How are you keeping up with all of this? And his response was, he's like, we're getting very close to playing the amount of tabletop RPGs that I want to be playing. He's like, we're getting close, which I think is so funny as someone who just, loves D&D and feels like I could play it forever. I think that's very funny. Where he's like, "Yeah, I'm almost playing as much D&D as I would like to be playing."
He's DMing like everything, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, like,
he's not a player as far as I know in anything.
Not right now. So yeah, it's at least like 3 or 4 campaigns that he's probably working on.
What a G! And I know for Critical Role, he's probably got like a creative team, but like that's still so much work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
One day, when playing D&D as our full-time jobs, we... Can you imagine, dude? Like, this podcast takes off. Everybody loves it. It gets a following. We start, making a little bit of money from it or something. I don't know. They want a D&D actual play. Maybe we release that along the side. Like,
yeah.
Could be... Do you think you could make the leap? Like if we started doing numbers and things, the way things played out, like if it was ever a reality where it's like, hey, like we could do this like full time, like do you think you could make that leap
for doing it full time?
Yeah, like do you think like playing D&D and doing this podcast and probably all the other supplemental projects we'd work on because we'd have a little bit more time or whatever, like do you think you could make the leap into like that's your job, that's your career, is like the the podcast and an actual play show and whatever?
You know how hard it would be to explain that to my parents?
Yeah, they would not get it.
My dad would be so confused.
I'm lucky because my dad, he gets it. Like he's seen tabletop RPG podcasts and stuff, so he has a very good base for being like, oh, that's
Yeah, my dad
he knows what it entails.
Redneckiest redneck I've ever met in my life.
What the hell is a podcast? An actual what? Yeah, I don't know.
I think I could, honestly. It would be so. It'd be so freeing. But then we just get to dump all of our work into it, and make it.
Yeah, I mean, imagine you had a full week. Like we take like a day. Like we've been before actually recording. We've been sitting here for an hour, kind of setting up the other stuff and working on other things. Setting up. So it's like, can you imagine if you had like every day, every week to just. Yeah. If we had an actual play show to write for the campaign and to, go into character stuff and backstory and lore and, play the actual session and then edit that.
The only thing that, I think about constantly is that most, D&D podcasts are, an hour long.
Yeah, that's always crazy to me.
We play for, 4 or 5 hours at a time, generally. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can probably be cut out of it just because we ramble and go on bits and tangents sometimes. But I feel like if we knew that we were recording, it'd probably be a little bit more concise.
Yeah.
But how do we not release either 3-hour-long episodes or multiple episodes a week?
Right. I mean, that's where Critical Role is 5-hour episodes usually, right?
Yeah.
So they've kind of hit that. That's about where they're playing, and they're the biggest one. So clearly, there is an audience for it. D20's gotten longer. D20 is 2 to 3 hours per episode. But yeah, a lot of podcasts, especially type shows, NADPod or whatever. It's there's friggin', it's an hour, which is it's
all the ones I listen to are hour and a half at the longest.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's sometimes I forget when I listen to a podcast that I really like, a D&D podcast. I'll drop one. That people should listen to that's maybe a little bit more niche. Spout Lore. Spout Lore is a Dungeon World actual play podcast that I really, really like. They're very, very funny. But their episodes are about an hour. And it's interesting because I was listening to that podcast and, they're, maybe 10, 12, 15 episodes in. We're getting into season 2 type stuff, whatever it is, right? And, there's some character arcs that are paying off and they're getting some cool magic items and whatever else. And so sometimes when we're playing D&D, I'm oh, we have to wait till session 10 or session 15 or session 20 to, have these big payoffs. But then I forget that they play for an hour.
4 times as long.
Yeah, and ours are 4 hours. So it's their episode 8 is the end of our session 2. So it's it makes the pacing of our campaigns versus the pacing of some of the shows I listen to a little bit tough to grasp. I forget that sometimes, so then I feel like I kind of try to compensate, and then sometimes I feel like I'm leveling you guys up too fast or giving you guys too many items. It's a hard balance.
I know. I have the same issue. Like, I was just always listening to stuff, and then when I DM'd, I'm just sitting there thinking about it, and I don't know why. I'm just I'm like reluctant to level you guys up.
Yeah,
because but then like thinking about it, like, oh, we just level up in 2 sessions, and then this one that I listened to, they level up like every 4 episodes or something, you know?
Right, which is one session for us, exactly.
For
so
us.
it's like,
but their pacing's really fast because they're more concise. They're editing down their games, and I mean their record might be an hour and 45 minutes long. They were cut out 45 minutes of looking up rules and stuff, but
who knows?
But yeah, it is weird to be like, oh, I mean, we've only played 1 episode of D&D. No, we've played 3 or 4.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little weird, and yeah, I don't know. I think the kind of thing that I've come around to about it is like leveling up is fun. It's just fun. You get access to more cool stuff, and at the end of the day, like, what if you hit max level, man?
Mm-hmm.
What if? And then you play. Who knows how many more sessions at max level? Like, is anybody going to be upset that they have too many cool things they can do? Shit. Like, you know, it's like, because I've been leveling the campaign that we're currently playing, the Daggerheart campaign. I feel like I've been trying to be a little bit more conservative in how often I dole out level ups and stuff, because I'm not usually, and I think it's been fun.
You level us up a lot.
Yeah, a lot of campaigns have fallen into like getting close to like once a session, or at least every other session. And so I've been trying to slow down a little bit, which I think is good because we're still learning the new system, and I don't want to overwhelm you guys, especially with how the ability cards work. with your domains, it's like you'd have a lot of stuff going on if you leveled up really fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it can be so fun. It's such a cool reward when you get to tell everybody to level up and they get so excited. And then it also like gives the DM a break, especially if you do it like mid-session.
Yeah, true.
It's like you get to tell them to level up, and it's like, okay, I got to take a breath. You guys can look at some options for leveling up and what you want to do.
But Daggerheart, I don't think is very compatible to leveling up all the time. And there's only the level 10 in Daggerheart.
Yeah.
And we're trying to do like long campaign style for this. So I think leveling up like every 3 or 4 sessions is fine.
Yeah, I think the pacing's been good so far. We'll see.
Oh yeah,
I had that thought the other week where I'm like, man, what if they get to max level? What if they're level 10 and they just I
mean, I'd love to get to level 10, and that's like we get to level 10, we play for 2 sessions at level 10, and finish our story. Like, that's ideal in my mind.
Yeah.
And then we get to make an episode, we played Daggerheart to level 10. Here are our thoughts.
Yeah, give the full rundown. I do, honestly, now that we've played, I have some gripes with Daggerheart.
I've got a couple also.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We might
have to do that next episode.
Yeah, find some time to talk about that, because, I mean, I love it. I do really like it, but there are some things that I'm like,
Cinema sins, everying wrong with Daggerheart.
Yeah. Which, like, there's a lot of positives, but I've found some things, some of the more specific mechanics and stuff that I'm like, I don't know. I liked everything. I liked everything going in. I loved the idea of how everything worked, but actually playing, I've found some of it to be a little tedious. So yeah, that's
for another time. Next episode, we'll do that. Next
we'll get
episode.
into it,
or maybe the episode after, or maybe we'll forget about it and never do it ever.
We do that sometimes with episodes.
Yeah, true.
Episode ideas.
It'll happen. All right, I've got a question here.
Okay.
Spinosaurus 8923 says his players don't know the objective. Says, so basically, I've been DMing this campaign with my friends, and it's going pretty well. I made this campaign with a lot of plot twists, and I'm pretty proud of it, until yesterday. Yesterday, we reached a key point in the story. Basically, getting the key to unlocking the final boss. And an NPC clearly told them that it was the key to reaching the final boss. But they seemed not really sure what they were doing. After the session, I asked everyone various questions about the campaign and story, and no one, underlined, knew a single answer. Even the main objective. The main objective is finding a strange mythical city. Basically, no one knows what they're doing and why. What should I do?
Huh. I don't know if I have the context. Like, was this like... I don't know if... Because this could be like two things, right? Like, do your players just not care? Like, because some groups... There's very much an archetype of like beer and pizza groups, right? Where it's like they're just showing up to hang out with their friends, drink a beer, eat some pizza, play a game, whatever. And like that might be the group, but like that level of like understanding is like, do they care so little? Or as a DM, like, did you really fail to, get across what the objective was,
I don't know. He says an NPC clearly told them that this was the key to reaching the final boss.
Huh.
I mean, obviously, his perspective is probably slightly skewed in that he's probably... It's so funny to me. I can just imagine if we did that to you. It's just like 8 sessions in, just be like, "What the fuck are we doing?"
Yeah, I mean, I'll come at it from this angle because I think this is the most interesting, and I think that there's the most advice here. I think it can be difficult sometimes as a player to tell exactly what it is you're like, quote unquote, supposed to be doing, right? Like, I think sometimes your DM, like, because sometimes you're doing something and it's kind of a side quest, right? That like this is just something that you're doing right now, right? But sometimes it can be hard to gauge, like, are we, does our DM want us to be doing something else? Are we supposed to be doing something more important? Or like, obviously if your DM opens the campaign with like, the god of chaos has taken over the world and, whatever, that's super cool. And that that's a cool end game, but it's like, when are we supposed to do that? Right. Like, especially, you're starting low level. It's like, how much stuff are we supposed to go do to get, more powerful and level up? What level are we supposed to fight this bad guy? Stuff like that. Because like some players are more conservative and they're going to want to get, the highest level possible before they do that. And some players are like gung ho.
Let me fight this thing right now.
I want to go right fucking now, right? And our group has a kind of a mix of that. So it's interesting. And as a player, I've often found myself being like, what does our DM want us to do here? It's not often clear. So that's interesting. I would say maybe they are clearly in need of a reminder of, some goals and like
important key points that have happened. Yeah,
and like that could be in game. You could have more NPCs that talk about the things that have happened in the world and kind of where the how all these things are landing and what it means and where we should go next and things like that. That's fine. You could also just over the table be like, hey guys, there's clearly some confusion about what we're doing here, so let me just run you through my process, right? I think it's okay to open up the curtain a little bit, show the behind the scenes and be like, this was my intention of like having you guys do these things. I kind of planned for you guys to tackle this big thing later. So let's focus on these cool side stories and wrap these up, and then you guys can talk or whatever. Yeah. That's fine. Like, you're just trying to tell a cool story. And I think you can tell the coolest story when everyone's on the same page about where it's going. Right.
Yeah. I've got oh my gosh. Like it's just really funny to me, but like for either one of two things happen. Your players either weren't paying attention or didn't care, or like the beer and pizza people that are just there to hang out with the boys, have fun, or your plot twists were too confusing and they didn't understand them.
Yeah, they got lost.
So from a player's perspective, it is really easy to get lost as to what the DM is trying to put out there. So usually from my point of view is I don't think about that ever, and I do what I want to do. But Keegan is like a good DM, so he does put things in front of me, he puts a shiny thing in front of me, and I follow it around. Mm-hmm. And usually we end up in agreement. But sometimes I do things that I'm sure that you're like, why are you this way?
Yeah, sometimes you guys are there's definitely times where you guys are so committed to like some aspect of the campaign where we're going to go do this. And that's fine. I mean, like, especially our campaigns are typically, we try to be very sandboxy. We try to be open world. Like, I don't want to railroad you guys. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, typically the reason you've done that is because I've mentioned that there's something cool there, right? Yeah. Like, there's a cool thing. And so, so sometimes, like in this current campaign, I've talked about how there's these leviathans out in the sea, right? And people hunt these leviathans to get their blood, which is like how a lot of more inventions have been made, more features, right? There's like guns and like kind of an electricity system and stuff like that, right? And that's all powered by the Leviathan blood. It's kind of steampunky. I was very much inspired by like the Dishonored games and stuff. They have like a higher level of tech, and it's all powered by like whale oil, right? So, but I thought it'd be cool to do like Leviathans, and these ships go out with these sailors. People that hunt Leviathans are called threshers. And they go out and they hunt the Leviathans and they take them back to the docks and they bleed them and they sell all this stuff. And obviously that's cool. Like, that's just a cool world building detail. Like, that's,
so
that was like a shiny thing, right? That was like some cool detail that I put in the world.
Sharp shiny in front of me,
Yeah, and so you guys went to explore that, right? And so you can do that trick with story stuff, right? If you have a story beat that you want to hit, make it the most interesting thing, right? Make it super cool and super exciting and engaging and shiny so that your players gravitate towards that anyways. Then that way you're not railroading them. There's still other stuff they could do, but that's the coolest thing to do. And so naturally they're going to want to do it, and then they get to follow your story and your storyline and your different beats and stuff without you railroading them or having to tell them explicitly, because there's just always a coolest thing to do, and that follows along. And if they're super set on doing some side thing, you'll get back to it later.
It's weird because it sounds like the players are like doing everything that he's got set out. So you'd imagine that they'd have some like recollection of like story, like points that are going to other points and like what could be happening. But it just reads like they have no idea what's going on. Like,
yeah.
Like if they're chasing the sharp shiny, like they should know kind of the gist of it. Like I understand where we're getting to. And, but we just had a bunch of sharp shinies dangled in front of us.
I like you keep saying sharp shinies. Why are they sharp?
Weapons.
Oh, you're okay.
Swords are treasure. Weapons are treasure.
Okay, so the sharp shinies are the treasure. Okay, I see. Because we were talking about shiny things being an intriguing, engaging thing, and then you
sharp
shinies. Okay, you're back to the sharpies. Sharp shinies.
Yeah, but I don't know. We always do session recaps. I feel like he needs to start maybe doing, if you're not already doing session recaps, start doing session recaps, and if they're still not getting along, we floated the idea of doing a Kahoot, and whoever wins the Kahoot gets like an inspiration for the session or something.
Yeah. So start maybe more detailed session recaps if you're not, if you're already doing them, make them more detailed. Because like I said, they can be a little over. Behind the curtain, hey, this is what's going on, this is the impact of some of the things you've done, and this is where we're headed, blah, blah. So, get them re-engaged, let them know what's going on, and, and then, it is kind of a funny thing, but we did float the idea of like a Kahoot where the DM makes some questions about their world and the lore and stuff like that, and the player that wins the Kahoot gets some kind of reward. You could do, inspiration or an item or something.
To do like, okay, there's 5 questions that happened last session, and there's 2 questions that happened at some point, and just have like a short little thing that you can do at the very beginning instead of a recap. Just be like, oh yeah, so you guys know what's going on, so everyone's on the same page.
Yeah,
because time happens in between sessions, and your brain is not like a vault, so
right. Some things are going to get lost, and for sure.
I love that question. I thought it was so funny. What should I do?
What should I do? My players have no idea what's going on. It's so crazy.
All right, I've got another little one here. This one's just fun to talk about.
if you could see one untapped IP become an RPG, what would it be?
Oh, I know my answer immediately. I'm
Really?
Yeah.
I picked this question. I have no idea. I've been thinking about it so long.
Yeah. I know immediately. There's a lot of cool stuff that I think can be. I think everything could be theoretically adapted into a tabletop RPG. Some things have done it well. Some things have done it not so well. Some things that come to mind. The Avatar: The Last Airbender tabletop RPG I've read, very good. People should play that. I would love to play it at some point. The Dishonored, we just talked about Dishonored. Dishonored made a small tabletop RPG with some rules. I've read that. I wanted to play that for a while. That seems really good. And these are some smaller, lesser known ones, I feel like.
Yeah.
The Fallout tabletop RPG that they made like a licensed Fallout thing. Bad. Didn't seem. I tried.
Bad.
I really wanted to play it when the Fallout show came out. I was pretty excited about Fallout.
Yeah, a post-apocalyptic one would be fun, but like
Apocalypse World.
Apocalypse World. Is
yeah, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna do it, if you want to play Fallout, do Apocalypse World. It's so much better. The actual licensed tabletop RPG was so weird. It gets. Which there is a lot of crafting in the Fallout game, so I know why they did it, but it gets so lost in like the crafting system that it's like there's not even it's just not.
You're just crafting the whole time.
But
those are all tapped. What's an untapped one?
So my untapped one that I have looked for, I've been so excited about it in the past that I wanted to look for it and find something, is Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball. There's something, those stories of these people who are these incredible martial artists and love to fight and love to get more powerful and are constantly looking for ways to break past their limits and become, even more powerful than they thought possible, is very so engaging to me. And the idea of this party that not only has this interest in becoming more powerful, but, has threats that come up that, want to destroy their world and things like that, and have to be the kind of only line of defense, right? Like in Dragon Ball Z, like there's no Deus Ex Machina of some other character that shows up. Like it's always just this core group that has to be the line, that stands between, the evil stuff and their world. And I think that's so engaging, and I would love to play something like that, and no system. And the power scaling is so interesting to me of, having not only like Super Saiyans, right? They go Super Saiyan and then there becomes Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, 4, and then other versions. And then, and then they all find their own versions, right? Goku goes Ultra Instinct. Vegeta goes Ultra Ego. Gohan finds this Beast Gohan form. Like they not only do they get more powerful, but they find their own branches, right? They get powerful in different ways, and they split off and become super unique. And then there's other races like Piccolos and Namekian, and they get powerful in different ways. So like, it's not just like one track, which I think is cool. So having a system where players could like level up like that, where they like reach new levels of power that are unique to them, is just very cool, and I think could make for a really cool, also like a martial arts specific system, right? Like maybe some people have weapons, but for the most part, you're all martial arts. There's some cool stuff there. I think it'd make a really cool tabletop RPG.
You're such a fucking dork. That was like so. None of what you said resonated with me at all.
Well,
I don't
there's some
understand.
people out there that will find it very cool, and
there are some people
they will
that
understand it.
That are like, yes, I want exactly that. I mean, I would be willing to play it. It'd be fun. I know what Dragon Ball Z is. I'm not in the depth of you are. I've not watched it like a lot.
A lot of screaming. It's
a lot of
over the top.
I could do that.
Can you imagine sitting at the table with all your friends and it's like,
you're
all the time, dude? That would be crazy. Like, I don't know.
Lacey would come downstairs and be like, "What's happening?" It's
what
like,
are you guys doing?
Keegan passed out while screaming.
Literally. Yeah, so, I don't know. I find it has such a clear story beats of not only how you get more powerful, but like the threats that you come across and stuff. And I think it would make for a cool campaign that I'd love to play. And I've sought out ways to do that, and there's not a lot out there. There's definitely not an official one. Some people have made versions that, they tried to make, and some of them were okay. Some of them were, not great. So that would be a cool one. Do you have a...
The only things that really come to mind are, like, tons of fantasy, but, like, fantasy can be, like, basically anything. But, like, I really love, like,
like the histories of like war and stuff, but I know there's World War II ones because there's like Nazi. There's like I know there's one that's like an Inglourious Basterds style World War II one. I'd love a Civil War one, though. A Civil War one would be cool as fuck. Because the American Civil War is just interesting.
Well, there's not a lot of big history tabletop RPG settings. Like they're definitely all out there. Like, I'm sure you can find a Civil War one. I'm sure you can find a World War II one. And then there's like changes. There's one called Gear Krieg where it's like World War II, but you have like mechs, like it's you know, kind of Titanfall-esque, which I think is very cool. What's that one?
Titanfall-esque.
Yeah. What's that one with the vampires? There's like a World War II.
Oh, yeah.
But you're vampires, and so, you know, like the government created vampires, super soldiers. Yeah, so you go kill Nazis. Like, that's funny and interesting.
That's a thing. But I like a more accurate one.
Yeah, you want like a very... Yeah, we'd have to look into that.
I'd love just one kind of like set in the Prohibition would be fun. Just because there's like a lot of gangsterism and
like 1920 mobsters,
bootlegging and stuff. That would be cool. I'm sure there's probably something about it, but I've never seen it before.
Yeah.
And then like something focused on Greek or Greco-Roman era would I don't know of anyone that is
a Greek myth. I'm
a Greco-Roman focus.
I'm such a nerd about Greek mythology, and I already know. That's a really good one too, because like Greek heroes, you know, they have this specific,
it's just it's
destiny.
Like, it's made for it.
Yeah, it is. What I mean? Like, and the Greek tragedy is like obviously a way of storytelling that has persisted through all of human history. Like,
I mean, tell me, Odysseus is not a D&D character.
It's literally a D&D campaign. Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're so right. And I would be curious to see what's out there to replicate something like that. And like, because then it's like so D&D has Mythic Odysseys of Theros, which is very inspired by that, but it's still D&D and it's still very fantasy, and there's still like something a little more grounded where like you are a Greek soldier or a Roman soldier. And you're getting caught in between the machinations of the gods, you know, like how those stories play out would be super cool. Something, you know, Percy Jackson kind of does that with, you know, the kids that are coming into it, but like I would love like a not even like a modern one would be cool, or just the time period.
I want of the time period.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Here are the gods laid out. This is what like the world's like in the fucking Mediterranean Sea.
That'd be sick. We should do that sometime.
We
should
cool.
look for something and do a one shot. Those are all the untapped worlds of tabletop RPGs. But as far as this episode goes, I would say it is tapped. So
I hate you.
Why don't you lead us out, Jake?
I hate you so much.
That was such a good segue. That was so. What do you mean? That was so smooth and cool and like professional.
It was. That's why.
So then you can't hate me. So then you should be like, damn, that's you got to put some, you know, like some respect there, and then go with me.
How long are you thinking about that one?
That's just off the dome, man.
That's not off the dome. You thought about it.
How could I have thought of untapped versus tapped when you
were thinking about it the whole time I was talking?
You prompted untapped markets. Come on now.
Come on. Oh my god. Alright, well, if you guys like listening to us argue with each other about TTRPGs, we like doing it. So give us 5 stars on Spotify, leave us a comment, share it with some friends, and we'll do it more.
Eventually we'll have a Patreon where we'll be releasing our Dragon Ball Z tabletop RPG and our Greek myth tabletop RPG.
True. If you hate us doing it, leave us a comment that you hate us doing it, and we'll do it more.
We'll farm all of their engagement.
We'll farm
their hate. We'll fuel our algorithmic power.
No, I don't know how to do that. I don't plan on learning. So.
Send us an email. I would love to hear from you guys. Tell us about your campaigns that you're playing. If they're cool, if they're good, if they're bad, if you have a problem that you need some advice for, if you have a funny story about how things went crazy. Anything like that, we just would love to hear from you guys. So send us an email, that's down in the description, and we will probably read it on an episode and talk about how funny or bad or good it is.
And we'll criticize you.
No, we will treat you with the utmost respect. and
will
kindness.
disrespect you and your family.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.